Hey everyone, we are here together and we're excited.
So I wanted to introduce everybody to you that's watching from my folks because I think what you do is really amazing for a very broad spectrum. I'm going to give a little bit of history on me, and then I want you to give a little history,
Yeah.
and then let's get into a conversation. So, those of you who don't know me, my name is Shana Moll, and I am the CEO, creator, educator for Studio U Education, which is inspiring education for the alternative hair world. And so, what happened to me was after 27 years in the industry, I went to Israel, and not only being a Jew and going to Israel, but walking the steps that Jesus walked, and just the spirituality and connection to who we all are. Um, God kept dropping hair loss in front of me. And
Mm.
so after 27 years, I said to my husband, "Why aren't I trained in this?" He's like, "I don't know, go get trained." So I went and got trained. That was 2016. Fast forward to January 2017, and I saw what was happening. And I said to my husband, "I never want to own another salon ever again, but we're opening one." So I opened a salon. Doors opened in April 2017, based solely on fine and thinning hair to prevent hair loss and hair replacement, brilliant bonding, which is something I created. So once I did that, in that from April 2017 until August 2023, I built a $1.3 million business with three artists, and I sold my business a year and a half ago for over seven figures, which is why you can see I'm out in the country traveling in my Airstream.
Mhm.
However, when I started to see you online and looking into what you do and just, the possibility of working with some really amazing coaches, allowing you to bring in these hair loss solutions to your students so
Mhm.
they can make the profit margins that they deserve to make. But not only that, the emotional satisfaction of what I've done and now teaching the hairdresser is way beyond any money I ever made.
I love that. Yeah, I love that. I love your story. We have so many similarities. So, for everyone watching, if you don't know me, my name is Maria Fontana. I am an industry icon, not an icon, but I've been in this industry for 38 years. I opened my first salon at 19 years old
Wow.
because I could not conform and be an employee. So,
Right.
no shade on any owners. I was an insubordinate and I just wanted more. I didn't want to be capped. I was a visionary. So fast forward, opened my first salon at 19. I've opened 11 salons in
Wow.
38 years and sold all of them. So
Wow.
I became an educator. I've taught, behind the scenes in the Votech to give back. And I've owned other businesses outside of our industry. What happened in around 2008, I went through a very tumultuous personal period of my life where a lot of things went south. And I thought to myself, I need to figure out what my next season's going to look like. I had two little kids, I was getting divorced, and I saw things changing all around me. So I also saw the online world coming about. And I thought, I want to tap into this. And I started my first YouTube channel. Now, I didn't even know how to turn on a computer. I didn't know what I was doing, but that was the beginning of me stepping into the online space. Now, mind you, I rebuilt myself. I restarted my brick and mortar businesses after losing everything at one period in my
Wow.
life due to divorce and nonsense, just stuff. It's irrelevant. You got to get your bootstraps and get back up. So then I started into this online world and people were constantly picking my brain. Like that was something that drove me crazy. People be like, "Can I pick your brain? Do you want to have coffee? I want to pick your brain." I'm like, "Wait a minute. I need to create a business out of this because everybody wants to know what I knew about business, about starting a business, about growing a business, about bootstrapping a business, about loans, about just about all the things. And then the personal development part, because how did you get through XYZ and rebuild your business to seven figures? Like, how did you do that? So that was the beginning of my coaching and consulting business. And then I fine-tuned it and grew that. So Maria Fontana Consulting focuses on helping salons, spa, wellness business owners to reinvent themselves, to reset themselves, to recalibrate into their next season. And that could be starting a coaching company, downsizing, starting a consulting brand, or just getting ready to retire and exit and sell their business for what it's worth. And then I'm also proud CEO of the Salon Business School.com, which is a foundational business academy. It's basically a college on steroids for all salon and beauty professionals that teaches foundational business, marketing, and a little splash of mindset. I'm just super excited to share these things because I saw there was no affordable, really robust foundational business acumen. I would meet with business owners who were doing really great and their foundations were all screwed up. They had no SOPs, they had no systems. There was just chaos. So I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
why is everybody struggling? The people were constantly struggling with social media and I can't get
Uh-huh.
it was like the same old story. So I laser honed in. I launched the Salon Business School, which is super affordable. Anybody can afford to get in there, and you get access to me. And then Maria Fontana Consulting, where when you're higher level, you're at seven figures or beyond, and you're ready to exit, reset, recalibrate, or start a whole new venture, start a coaching business consulting, then they come to me for that.
Well, I love the idea of the foundational because how many people do we meet with who don't even know what their hours worth?
Yeah.
They they don't, and so I come across that a lot um, in working with one-on-one,
Hmm.
in a sweet salon.
Hmm.
Even working with salon owners who have three or four chairs, who I start asking them questions and they don't have any idea about their business,
Hmm.
what they're actually making.
Yeah. The math.
That's so many. Yes, because I meet so many people who go down the educational black hole
Hmm. Right.
and they've spent so much money before they get to somebody like you or
Right.
before they learn about hair replacement and adding scalp health and hair growth to their businesses,
Right.
which, we talked about earlier, how nobody is doing what I do in our industry in the main, I call it the mainstream hair
Yeah.
world. Nobody. And so we're just now starting. I started and created a new part of my program where I just decided, why am I just teaching this one application that I created called Brilliant Bonding, which is a no shave, no damage method of hair replacement, which
Hmm.
means you just put their beautiful dream hair right over their hair. They swim, they skydive, they can do whatever they want now. And they
Wow.
just come in every 4 to 6 weeks for service. Okay, so now your hairdressers that are listening to this,
Hmm.
now you've created an ongoing clientele who has to see you. They can't go to the other salon on the corner.
Yeah. I'm
And
gonna
and
add, I just want to add something real
yeah,
quick because it just popped to my mind.
yeah.
I teach, and again, I'm open-minded, and whatever I say is my perspective and what I
Hmm.
share. So
Hmm.
there's no negativity or shade on
Right.
what anyone else is doing.
No, your
I
opinion.
teach, yes, and my methodology. I
Right.
teach to a niche. I teach to specializations. So I love what you're saying because this gives an opportunity to add a specialization to their business that, oh my God, can change the
Yeah.
trajectory of their income.
Right, right. Well, that's what we were talking a little bit about earlier. I built that business only on three artists. Can you imagine only having three artists in your salon who work 4 days a week,
Hmm.
who have 2 Saturdays off a month? The Saturdays they work, they get Tuesday off.
Hmm.
Can you imagine building a culture like that
Yeah.
as a salon owner? And then also, like you said, you can create your exit plan. I knew 2 years before I wanted to sell refined hair, it was Shana Moll Studios before. I knew I had to change, rebrand, and pivot because nobody wants the owner to be part of anything when they buy it.
No, any
So,
successful business, that's how it is. You can't be the business. This is where a lot of
no,
people in our industry drop the ball. And again, I'm not criticizing, I'm just saying no
no.
one taught us. Again, these are the things inside the Salon Business School. Like, yeah, a business is a business. So, as you are the CEO, I'm the CEO, but we have other people that can execute on these services that can
Hmm.
show up, and then that was what makes that business valuable.
Right. Right. And, we talked a lot kind of like this, like, you don't want to work in your business, you want to work for your business.
Mhm.
And until I created this niche business, I was it.
Yeah. No, I
You know,
totally get it.
I just had somebody reach out to me who wants to know how to sell their business. They're in a salon suite.
Hmm.
They don't have anything to sell at this point. They don't.
Right. Because the
But let's
prep is where the prep is where the gold mine is. If there's no system and things aren't buttoned up, there's no value.
right, right. And one of the things, that we're talking about and making, your students and other coaches want to stand apart is adding, you could just start by scalp health and hair growth, and that's it. And
Hmm.
you see all these companies out here are like, we can regrow hair, we can do this, we can do that. I want you to look at their testing. I want you to look at their ingredients.
Hmm.
So salons don't know to do this, but that's a huge thing right there. How many times have you had somebody come in who just had dry, itchy scalp or created too much sebum and you didn't really know what to do except send them to a dermatologist that just threw meds at them?
Yes, and that what's funny, that's what everybody suggests. And I see it rampant again. Don't
Mhm.
come for me, people. In the groups, I actually had to leave those groups online because the
Mhm.
madness that ensued in these groups, and I'm thinking, guys, why don't you take the time that you're bitching in this group
Right.
and go work on your business for God's sake? Like this is
Yeah.
where I have zero tolerance. I don't comprehend that. It's like,
I I don't either. And I'll tell a student that I'm working with, and we were talking a little bit.
mhm,
Studio U started to get too big, and it started to give me the anxiety, which is the reason why I sold the business I sold so I could retire. But at 57, right? But at 57, I was like, I need to prep these hairdressers starting in their early 20s.
mm,
What can they do? What can they learn about? If we have another blonding expert or we have another, they're like you, Instagram, they're all over the place. There are a million of them. So let's give that hairdresser something where they can really change. Think about changing everybody who walks through your door
mhm.
life. Like, I mean, change their life. We heard over and over, I don't want to go swimming with my kids. I don't want to go to a restaurant that has a bright light shining over me.
Oh
I
yeah.
don't want to go to the party because I'll spend an hour on my hair and the minute I go outside, it's gone. And people always said, how do you connect so well with those clients sitting in front of you? And you know what I say? And I'm very open about this online. I used to weigh 290 pounds. I'm a sexual abuse survivor. I am bipolar. And so when you sit in front of people and you are that open, I weighed 290. I didn't want to go swimming. I didn't want to go, so everything psychologically clicked.
Mhm.
And it's one of the things that made me super successful is that I could sit in front of anybody and be vulnerable with them.
Empathy
S-
too. Have an open heart. I
mhm.
think you were attracted to me because you see me online, and I really like when I connect with people. Like
Yep,
I connect with your soul
yep,
because that is what makes you successful, in my humble opinion. People will say,
right.
Maria, how did you do this? How'd you do that? Of course, there's business strategy, which you
Hmm.
absolutely have to have. There's mentorship, which you
Hmm.
absolutely have to have to
Hmm.
succeed. And
The
there's
right mentor, though.
correct. The right mentor who's aligned with your vision, your values, your mission, and has done
Right,
successfully really what you are trying to achieve. I mean, these are my parameters before I hire
right.
someone. And your heart, having
Hmm.
empathy, really
Hmm.
giving a crap about people. That to
Right.
me is the differentiator. At least in my brand, I could tell it's in your brand. There's
Yes.
nothing more beautiful than that.
Yeah. And we were talking about how you will only take on somebody who's serious, or you will only
Oh, yeah.
because your time is valuable and not just by the dollar,
No.
right? I mean, our time, our energy is worth a lot of money.
Yeah.
And so when I'm working with a student, I'm sure this is the same as you. If you don't come to our meeting and you're not prepared, I am stealing your money and you're wasting my time.
Yeah. I call
And
them solution driven. If you're not solution driven, that's okay. Then you're not going to get the results. You have to
right,
be solution driven. And that brings me back to where are you putting your energy?
right, right,
Where are you focusing your energy? Like this
right.
half hour that you and I are speaking, the impact and the energy and the
Hmm.
goodness that it's going to bring to everyone that watches these videos, it's high
Right.
value.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. When I'm teaching to now I don't like to do the big hair shows. I'm gonna put
That's
that out there
okay.
first. Yeah,
Yeah.
I like to be able to connect in a small group. I'd rather do these boutique education things that are, they're coming about like you do in Italy.
Yeah.
You know, we want to go and learn and fill our soul
Hmm.
and enjoy ourselves.
Hmm.
And so when I'm working with these stylists, and they're just like I was 12 years ago, I worked behind the chair 10 hours a day, chasing my tail, paycheck to paycheck, nothing to give my family when I got home. That was only 10 years ago. And so when I in a solo salon,
Wow.
I was by myself. I went from a
Amazing.
small room, learned about wigs and toppers, had to go to a medium room. Once I started learning about hair replacement, I went to a triple room and I was spending $2,000 a month. I'm like, why am I doing that here? Let's go open a salon.
Yeah.
That's what I want to give that hairdresser. You don't have to be that hairdresser behind the chair who has nothing left for yourself or your family when you get home.
Yeah. I think what you teach is amazing. I'm going to invest in your program. I'm going to send actually my team to your programs. And I'm going to learn too, because I just find it fascinating. And I am all about, I love the niche. To me,
Yeah.
the successes I had in my brick and mortars were always because I was super niched in something that
Hmm.
other people weren't. Um, it sets you apart, and like you said, it helps you create a business. I always relate it to like the medical field or the lawyers.
Right.
And people are like, what are you talking about? But this is how I look at it. If I need heart surgery on one part of my aorta that's a special blah blah blah, I'm going to look for the dude that
Yeah.
specializes in that specific thing because that's what I need done. If I need a root canal, I'm going to go to the dude that does the best, or the, woman, whoever, the person that does the best job. And I think this is where our industry and everybody
Hmm.
watching, guys, just take a moment and breathe and say, I think I'm going to reset how I look at things because we all need a mindset reset. What used to be is no more. You've got
Right.
to shift and change and start shifting if you want to create abundance, wealth, an exit strategy. You want to be in Italy like me, hanging out, or like Shanna, she's all
My,
the way with her RV, having a great time, enjoying life.
yeah.
We're not here to say, oh, we're great. We're here to say, open your mind to opportunity and
Right.
reflect. What do we need to look at in our own business that needs to change? What's not working anymore? Or what don't you want to be doing anymore?
Right.
It's time for an up
Exactly.
level.
Exactly. And that's I've just gotten the point where I don't want to do what I don't want to do.
I
And
don't
you
either.
know, we were talking about, there's and again, when I'm teaching, I say this is just my opinion. I don't want to get a bunch of emails, everybody
Yeah,
yelling at
don't
me.
I
It's
say don't
just
come for me. Don't
no,
come for me.
please.
This is just my
No,
perspective.
exactly. It's just my opinion. Um, and when I was able to get into the hair loss part of this and realize that I could help the hairdresser have whatever life they wanted. Nobody teaches that. Nobody teaches about hair loss in beauty schools. Nobody teaches about hair loss anywhere. And
No,
how many times are you that's watching the stylist? You can only highlight for texture, tease so much. People even think for fine and thinning hair, you need to layer it. Well, it's the complete opposite. So there's just so many things that, just like you said with your business school, that our hairdresser, that one hairdresser that's listening, needs, all the way up to that owner who's like, oh my God, I can't make a dollar and I'm chasing my tail and my team is unhappy and it's a terrible culture. And so by adding that niche that you talk about,
Yeah.
can create all of that with the foundation of knowing business.
Yeah.
And to be quite honest with you, when I'm coaching about business, really all I want to coach about business is how do you bring in hair loss to your studio?
Mhm.
How do you advertise it? How do you use Google My Business?
Mhm.
And then guess what? Go see Marie, because
Yeah.
that's not what I'm an expert at. I'm an expert at what I'm an expert at. And
Yeah.
let everybody else be the expert.
Yeah.
And make sure if you're watching this that you understand that the person who's telling you they're a coach or they know how to help you create wealth, have they done it themselves?
Exactly. Yeah. But that's across the board. Me too, right? I'm sure before you hire someone, I always have mentors. I have business
Mhm.
coaches. I actually, all of my best mentors and coaches are outside of the industry because when I came online and when I wanted to do things, I'm like, well, this person has created what I want to create in the style, with the mission, with the value. She aligns with
Mhm.
my way. I don't want to be like, going crazy with whatever, it was.
Right,
And that's the important part. So it's really just do your homework, just talk to, I guess the best way to vet people to talk to other people who
right.
worked with them and say, is this a good fit for me? Did this person really achieve what I'm looking to achieve? Because again,
Mhm.
every everything's customizable in my opinion. Like
Yeah,
again, there's not one, I always say there's not one way to do anything, but
right.
make sure that whoever is mentoring you
Mhm.
actually accomplish the thing that you're trying to accomplish. They might be great at something, but it might not be the thing that you're trying to accomplish. So, I mean, this is just do your homework, be vigilant, be discerning. I think that's just so smart. And today, you should go look at their, can I always, this is what I do. I send out to people, someone wants to work with me, especially one-on-one, like at a higher level,
Mhm.
in my VIP programs and in the, reinvention and all that type of stuff. I just say to them, hey, would you like me to connect you? Would you like to speak to someone who's done this with me? And I have
Right,
all my clients on the list who have said, I would love to. Because, some people don't want to do it,
right,
but some people like, yeah. And that's it. You just kind of, they can pick each other's brain. They can ask, and it's like free of having anything to do with me. And I
right.
find that so powerful.
Absolutely, and it's interesting that we bring this up because I'm getting ready to do a live with one of my students who
Nice.
took my virtual online during COVID, who is an unbelievable rock star. And so we're going to do a live about that. What does it
Love
mean to
it.
learn virtually, and is it valuable? And I will tell you something, you salon owners and hairdressers out there listening, God forbid there's ever another pandemic. Because let me tell you something, I never had to close. I
Yeah.
am medically based. I
Yeah.
grew 20% during COVID.
I can imagine. I can imagine.
And that's that niche, right?
Yeah.
That's
I love it.
that's that thing that fills your soul, that fills your pocket.
Right. I love that. So, you know what, Jana? Let's just tell
Yeah,
everyone because we get so excited.
I
Just
know.
remind everyone where they can connect with you. We're going to drop it above or below this video. I'm sure you're going to post it. I'm going to share it.
Yes.
But where can people find you and connect with you to enroll in your program?
Okay, so first of all, studioueducation.com. I have the Brilliant Bonding video right now. I have Hair Loss 101 video, which every single person that's watching this needs to go purchase. And I've made it like 29.95.
Yeah, no excuse.
It's no. And then there's something else called trichotillomania that a lot of people don't know. It's a hair pulling
Yeah,
eyebrow.
yeah,
And so I have a video on there, trichotillomania. What is it and how can you serve this clientele? Again, you can serve these clients. So you can do that online. You can reach out to me via Facebook or Instagram, Shana Moll. On Instagram, it is Studio U underscore education. Um, on Facebook, my biggest following is my personal page, which is
Mhm.
Shana Moll on Facebook, because we share who we are, right?
Yeah, I love
Yeah.
that. Me too.
And then the other thing is, and people think I'm crazy to do this. I'll give you my text business number and you can
Yeah,
text me,
I
or
love
you can
that.
go online and you can book a one-on-one 15-minute discovery call with me. If you want to reach me, you can text me at 512 806-5655. And the only way I'm able to do this, Maria, and we talked about this earlier, is it's boutique. I
Hmm.
only take 2 virtual
Hmm.
students to learn with me a month,
Hmm.
and I only take 5 coaching students at a time.
Yep. I love
I'm
that.
going to do what fills my soul, what I love to do.
Hmm.
Yeah. Do I need to make a little money? Yes, I do.
Well,
Do
it's
I
a
need to make,
business. It's like I
right?
say, it's a business. It's not a hobby, is it?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. But I don't have to make this kind of money that I made before
Okay,
because
because you're in
I
a
could
different
retire.
season, right? You're in a different
Exactly.
season, exactly.
Exactly.
So I
Okay.
just
So
go ahead, Angel. I'm
no,
sorry.
I want you to tell everybody because honestly, you are a perfect fit through every program you have from one person behind the chair on up.
Oh,
So how can they get
absolutely.
hold of you?
Everyone who's connected with. So for those of you that don't know me, if you'd like, you can find me at thesalonbusinessschool.com. That is where you can sign up for. I have a free masterclass. It takes you into my free community, and of course, I'd love to have you inside my program. It's a 1 year program. You get access to me 2 times a month for live Q&A, and we also do hot seat coaching, which is kind of like what me and Sean are doing, but we're gonna, I'm coaching you live,
Right.
and all of the other products that I have inside. It is only $597 for the year. There's Klarna
Wow.
Afterpay. This is something I'm giving back. The price is going to go up in the next few months, but we are actually, there's thousands of people in this program getting massive results because it's very high touch with me and my team. Then you can follow me also anywhere on social media. And just if you want to book a one-on-one call, it's mariafontana.com. Super easy. And you can find me on every single social media platform,
Yeah.
podcast, YouTube. I love, love, love being online. So I'm everywhere. So there's tons of free content, tons of things you can connect with. But I think the biggest thing I want to share on this live stream, before we wrap up, is that mentorship with the right mentor for the right outcome is priceless. And
Yeah.
your mindset, you have to step out of the mindset of lack. You have to step out of the mindset that, well, things are bad, there's no money, like all this negative jargon that our industry perpetuates. You gotta cut it out
Yeah.
and you take action. You can see there's two of us here. We both have had massive success. We both
Yeah.
created wealth with small. I will refer to this. I've always had smaller or micro salons. I did not have large teams because I don't
Mhm.
like that. And that's
Right.
okay. I'm very honest. But
Yeah.
niche markets, there's great foundational business acumen, and you can create anything you desire if you put the work in, you hire a great mentor, and you show up for yourself.
Right. Right. And you add something to your business that nobody else is doing.
Right? Step out of the box.
That's right.
And then,
That's right. Well,
again, step out of the box. And when you're ready, then you can step into something new. Like people ask me all the time, like, how did you start a coaching and consulting business? I took a risk. I hired a mentor. I learned how to do it. And then I tweaked it and made it my own along the way. Now I teach other people to do that too. So,
but you also had the success behind it to
oh,
prove it. Yeah.
I mean, you can't just say, oh, I'm this. No. Here, if I'm teaching you how to make an omelet, I know how to make an omelet. I'm
Right.
not going to teach anybody anything I have not done. So that's why a lot of people will say to me, oh, they'll send me messages on certain things. And I'll be like, no, I refer the business. That's not what I specialize in. Here is a dear friend of mine.
Yep.
She's a coach who specializes in this. And I have a list of people like who's
Hmm.
like the money, if you have money mindset issues, who's the leadership expert, who's like, I have a network of people I trust that I refer to,
Hmm.
just like I would refer to you or
For hair
rebranding
loss.
into the niche market of creating
Hmm.
wealth with hair loss. Like to me,
Hmm.
that's like right off the top of my head.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm excited that we got to do this today because we
I'm
both
excited.
offer something that can work hand in hand beautifully in our industry to change our industry from us working so hard
Mhm.
with very little money, with very little self-satisfaction.
Yes. So, guys, I'm going to remind you when you're watching this video, I want you to comment, say hello, let us know where you're watching from. And if you want to connect with either one of us, just say connect below, and we will
Yep.
personally reach
Yep.
out to you individually. You could say, connect Maria, connect Sean, whoever it is you want to connect with. We are here to serve you. We want to be of service and
Right.
help you create wealth and happiness in your life.
Yes. Yes. Thank you so much. I so
This was
appreciate
this was so
take.
good.
I know. Have
Well,
a beautiful day.
thank you guys. See you soon. Comment below. Make sure you comment.